What's good, TMG fam? It's your boy L. I'm back with another reaction video, man. How y'all feel? Welcome back to the channel. Salute, man. Listen, sort of a real type video, man. Every now and then we gotta have these real conversations and these real talks out there. You know what I mean? So this video is titled, "Do All Suicide Survivors Think the Same?" Do all suicide survivors think the same? Just based off the title question alone, I'm gonna have to, my answer would be no. I don't think they think the same. Shout outs to Jubilee for this video, man. We're gonna be checking this out. And let's strap in. This is the first time I'm reacting to one of their videos per you guys' suggestion. And I don't know what to expect, but the title alone lets me know it's gonna be probably some heavy or deep conversation. All right, so let's get into it, see what it's about. Here we go. Always, man, take heed to those telephone numbers. And always, as always, man, we respect these survivors. We respect everyone, man, and you know what I mean? No judgment, and we just want to say, you know what I'm saying? We love you guys, suicide survivors, man, and if you ever need anybody to talk to, you saw those numbers at the screen. Don't hesitate to call those numbers, man.
The media accurately portrays mental health and suicide. 3, 2, 1, go.
First thing I noticed off the bat, is not everybody look the same. So if everybody don't look the same, how can everybody, you know what I'm saying, think the same? Everybody, that's the first thing I noticed. You have people there from all walks of life, different shapes, colors, race, whatever. You know what I'm saying? So it's impossible in my mind for me to fathom that they all think the same. Hold on, okay. I didn't know what they were doing, so let me go back to the question. The media accurately portrays mental health and suicide. I would disagree.
Mental health and suicide. 3, 2, 1,
go. I don't think it does all the time, especially because there's so many things that can happen with any sort of mental illness, which makes it then a problem when you're trying to explain it to someone because they think, oh, like in 13 Reasons Why, and it's not always like that.
Sometimes they romanticize suicide and depression in media, and it's kind of like a weird balancing act because there's some mental illnesses that are like seen as trendy or attractive, like anxiety or depression.
And like especially with
and anxiety is like the one of the top ones right now that you hear a lot these days. And just like anything else, it's those who truly are dealing with anxiety and those who are just latching onto it for the attention that it brings them. You know what I'm saying? And for that, I don't like that because, man, while you're taking attention from somebody else who actually needs that attention.
Twitter and stuff like that, everybody's like talking about it, everybody's retweeting about it. It's not a trend. It's an actual issue that people live with every single day. The media doesn't portray, like people like myself. I'm a Black lesbian woman, and I've dealt with depression for a very long time. I've had suicidal thoughts. I've attempted it. So for me to not have that representation, it's kind of hard for me to relate to it.
Well, I think that the media, it doesn't portray it correctly, but I also think that they're on the way up. It's not good now, but it's getting better, I think.
My family understands why I wanted to end my life. 2, 1.
Wow.
the first time I attempted was in middle school, and that was kind of understandable for my mom and my sister, because at that time we were going through a really nasty divorce. So when that happened in middle school, they kind of understood that that's what led to it. And then 2 years ago, I was drugged and assaulted, And that morning after I'd been found, it was such a traumatic experience that my mom walked out and I was just leaning over the balcony. And I remember breaking down crying because of the fact that I thought I was gonna throw myself off it.
I respect her for that because she knew she needed a hug right there. And for somebody to show her some love in that moment, I respect her for that. In that moment, she took the time to stop this whole thing and give her a hug and let her know, man, I understand what, you know what I'm saying? Just love, man.
So I think I was fortunate enough to have a family that was very understanding of everything I was going through.
I feel like my family didn't really understand. A lot of people still don't know like what's happened in my past. I was assaulted and attempted, and I was roommates with my best friend. She didn't even know. No one knew. And so I was handling it all internally, and now that they kind of know more or less, like I just wish they would have talked to me. They would have asked questions, because I was in college just all alone, dealing with it by myself, and no one knew.
All alone, dealing with it by herself eternally. You know what I mean? Nobody is able, and it's because sometimes we're so selfishly dealing with our own lives and our own problems and our own issues that we fail to see somebody that could be right up under our nose that's dealing with something a lot worse and strong that could be overwhelming to them to the point to they want to take their own lives. We gotta kind of, you know what I mean, not get so wrapped up in ourselves sometimes. And I'm living testimony of getting wrapped into my own thing and locking myself, you know what I'm saying, in my element and not paying attention to what's going on in the outside world or those around me, man. So that kind of hit home for me right there.
In my family, my parents are both immigrants. My mom was a refugee, so everyone in my family struggled with severe mental health and PTSD, and we just never spoke about it. I think the focus was make sure you assimilate, make sure you get a good job, make sure you're surviving, make sure people see you as, an American.
My family had a really hard time even understanding that I was struggling with mental health because they thought I was doing so well in school and I have all these friends, I'm hanging out with them all the time. How could you have depression?
I mean, I just don't talk about it with my family. I mean, when I told my sisters that I was coming on here, they're like, oh, what's it about? I was like, oh, it's called Suicide Survivors. And they're like, wait, did you? I was like,
I didn't actually want to die. 3, 2, 1, go.
Every time I go through a depressive stage, I just want someone to hold me back. And that's why I don't think I actually want to die. It's more like I want to live, but it's really hard to do that.
every moment that passed by, I was like more and more ready to like meet my maker. I saw it as like the easiest way out. Go somewhere where no one can find me and then I'll be all right.
See, and that makes me feel like some people feel like their problems and their issues and their things that they're dealing with is a burden to anybody else. You know what I mean? They could think, I don't want to put my problems off. Let me just end it all. You know what I mean? That way I'm not a burden on my mom. I'm not a burden on my dad, my brothers, my sisters, aunts, uncles, cousins, whatever. If I end it all here, they don't have to worry about it. And that's so not true, in my opinion. You know what I mean? I think that would add more onto it, Give somebody the opportunity to try to help or shoulder some of that burden, some of that weight off of your shoulders.
I don't know how I was found, like somehow, some way my friend like had a gut feeling. And then all of a sudden, like cops were like knocking on my window in my car.
I went above and beyond when I was trying to attempt. Me and my sister, she was begging me to go to the doctor to tell someone. And I was very insistent, like, I don't want to. So in those moments, yeah, definitely, I did want to die. But it was only because I didn't know any other solution.
I definitely wanted to end it all at the moment that I was at. I was ready to end it, and I made sure that I was in a place where nobody could find me. Thinking back to when I was sitting in that creek and everything that was going on, I'm really happy that I got up and walked away. I had kind of an epiphany when I was down there and going in and out of consciousness that my life is valuable.
Suicide is selfish. 3, 2, 1.
Wow, that one really caught me off guard. I would have thought they would have been like, I agree it is selfish, but they disagree. I gotta hear this response.
I think it is pretty selfish. It's a decision that you're making on your own. You're also not putting much consideration into your family members, your friends. And I think the effects of you killing yourself and leaving your friends and family behind could potentially lead to maybe one of them doing it. My mother, she was going through
I agree with that. You know what I'm saying? That's a point that I didn't even think of. You could start a ripple effect. You could start a trend and plant that in someone's mind who wasn't even thinking about suicide at any point in their life. You doing it could plant that seed in someone else's brain. So I totally agree with what he's saying right now. That's
divorce right around the time when I tried to kill myself. And she told me that she thought about it too, and that she wanted to, but she knew, like, when she saw me go through it, that she couldn't. Killing yourself could be selfish because of the other people that would be affected.
See, I get where you're coming from, but I also, for me, the first time I attempted, in my mind, that was going to be the option that would make things easier for my family. And even the second time, for me, it was what was going to make things easier, because in my mind, my family didn't want somebody that had just been drugged and assaulted. Like, that's a huge burden to be carrying. And so I didn't want to place that burden that I was going to have to go through and the financial burden of that on my family.
But I mean, look at all of us. I mean, we all thought that was our option. We thought that was the way to go. And afterwards, we saw the benefits of actually surviving and not having to be dead.
And that's why I moved, is because I agree with everything that you said. And then I also agree with you about the family situation and about how thinking about your family and thinking about the people that love you. I recently just got reconnected with my biological father. If I would have ended my life at 16, that would have never happened. He would have found me and he would have got the horrible news like, oh yeah, your daughter committed suicide at 16. So that aspect of it does make me feel like, yes, that is selfish, because there are still people who I don't even know who love me.
I agree with you saying that suicide can be selfish because it's such a huge trauma to a lot of people, but for people going through that actual moment, what I felt most frustrated about was, okay, people don't want me to die. People want me to live, but I don't know how I'm going to live, because at that time, I didn't know if I could even start medical transition. And I know trans people in Korea are not even employed, so how am I even gonna get a job? I need some kind of support to continue living, but that was so hard to find.
I am a happy person. 3, 2, 1, go.
I think
wow. I would have thought with them, you know what I'm saying? Or they would have all kind of went towards disagree. You know what I'm saying? Just based upon the whole suicide thing, I would think that they're not truly typical happy-go-lucky people. So to see that as another additional dynamic to this, man. So you can't just say all suicide victims or all suicide survivors were unhappy people. There are some happy people. That's crazy to think of. I couldn't have fathomed that.
think I once was like very unhappy and very dark on the inside, and I always portrayed being that friendly, outgoing person. Now I'm genuinely happy on the inside because I've worked so hard, equally as hard as I do on my physical fitness, with my mental health.
And being happy to me is feeling at one with yourself, which is sometimes just being alone, which is okay. And I feel like people make that like, oh, you're alone all the time, you're excluding yourself. No, it's not that. I'm taking that space for myself to get to be happy.
For me, I feel like happiness is a lot of pressure. Like I don't want to measure myself on one emotion. I feel like there's a spectrum of different things you can feel. You can feel upset, you can feel happy, you can feel depressed. And for me, it's just, I don't need to be in a constant state of it. So I think when we talk about happiness, it gets confusing because I think generally we're just saying, are you okay? And to me, that's different.
It really saddens me that I am standing here because I know it will disappoint a lot of people around me because they all want happiness for me. And sometimes I feel like I need to be happy because I need to fulfill those people's wishes. But it's not actually that. It's supposed to be for my own sake. And like it's also like every day I struggle with a lot of things, like being trans, being a non-US citizen who is trying to immigrate here, having family issues. So.
And it's okay to not be okay. Like,
Yeah.
I feel like you have to be forced to be happy. It's okay.
And that's the thing, like if you had asked me a month ago, I would have been standing over there with you. It's such a wave, but like the past week, it's been a good week for me. But I mean, a month ago, I would have been right over there.
And that's another thing, man. We have to continue to remind ourselves to take it day by day. Emotions are just like she said, waves, roller coasters, man. They're up and down. They're up and down. You have good days, you have bad days, but just know that the next day is a new beginning, a fresh start, a clean slate. You know what I'm saying? For you to take on or be in a better place than you were yesterday. Ooh, that's a tough question.
I think in terms of the statement, it gets better. There's kind of a little tagline that comes after it that's, but it does take time. You don't heal right away. Sometimes you're gonna be in that dark place and you have to write it out and you just have to find that willpower inside yourself. And it's very hard sometimes.
I feel like something that I was told a lot growing up was that it doesn't get better and that life gets worse and all those things. Like it totally gets better. Everyone was wrong. Take those risks, like have faith in your own abilities, like push yourself as far as you can go. That's what I've been doing for the last 3 years and it gets better.
I feel like for me, I'm in a position of privilege because it did get better for me. I had access to resources. I had health insurance so I could see a therapist. I have a job, so I have financial stability. I don't think that everyone gets that. I don't think that everyone is dealt the same hand.
I'm on the side of agreement here. I think that time heals all. Earlier I said I wasn't happy, but compared to where I was when I tried to kill myself, tremendously improved. I'm not in that deep, dark state of mind, and I do want to live. I still struggle with it, but I don't want to die.
And I think that's all that matters. Our society is so adamant about, making it a point that, well, you have to get better quickly.
Instant gratification.
Instant gratification, right. You have to get better quickly, or you have to act like you're at least better quickly, and you don't. It's okay to act like you're not okay for that time being. But as long as you get out of it and get there and take your time and do what you need, that's all that matters.
Can I get it?
It gets better, everyone.
It does. Group hug. Big group hug. Yes. Oh.
First off, I want to say I respect, admire, and love everything that we just took place to witness right then and there. I want to say I respect them for getting in front of however many people and telling their stories, giving their opinions, and putting it all out there on the line, man. It takes a lot to do that. We just sometimes forget that we watch a video, man, but what all it took for them to stand up there and talk about their feelings, their emotions, and express that to us. So I want to just say I commend them for that, man. It took a lot of courage for them to do that, talk about their own lives and their own experiences and things that they went through. You know what I mean? Shout outs to Jubilee, man. This is something that we need to continue to further this discussion. The numbers are here on the screen. I made sure to pause it there so we can continue to put that message out there that, man, if you need to talk to somebody, crisis hotline, prevention lines, all that type of stuff, man, please, 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 please don't hesitate to call these numbers and speak to someone, man. You know, that conversation can prevent someone from taking their own life, man. What a great discussion. What a great video. Y'all get at me in the comment section, man. Let me know what y'all think. Do you want to see more of these on the channel? And to be honest with you, man, I really don't care what people's opinion are. I'm going to continue to put this stuff on the channel because I want to, because I feel as though I like the topic of discussion, and I don't know who it could reach or whose life it could save. So even if people don't watch it, I'm going to still continue to react to it, man. And that's just me. That's just something that I feel as though is just only right to do. You know what I'm saying? So shout outs to y'all. Leave me some comments in the comment section. Subscribe if you're new. And stick around and stay tuned, man. Until the next reaction video. I'm out. Peace. Y'all stay solid. Hey.
What we do here is go back.